everybody. I'm Liam, and welcome to the Info Center, where information can be found. It's the season of candy and scares. It's Halloween time, so let's learn some interesting facts about Halloween.
Halloween originated in what is now Ireland and Great Britain. It all started with the Celtic festival of Samhain, which was celebrated on November 1st. Once Britain turned Christian, Samhain was changed into All Saints' Day, or All Hallows' Day, and October 31st was called All Hallows' Eve, later shortened to Halloween. This practice then came to America when the Irish and British immigrants immigrated to America. They brought the practice back to life, and Americans accepted the holiday with some slight modifications. You may notice how Halloween is written, since it is the title of this video. No, I actually did not spell Halloween incorrectly. It's actually supposed to have an apostrophe between the two E's. It signifies the dropped letters in evening, namely the V, and this shorthand of Halloween is the technical correct term. However, many people just leave the apostrophe out. Everyone carves faces into pumpkins and makes some interesting jack-o'-lanterns, but pumpkins weren't used in the original forms of jack-o'-lanterns. Instead, squashes, potatoes, and turnips were used. What for? This tale comes from an old Irish folk tale, the tale of Stingy Jack. The story goes that Jack and the devil were drinking in a tavern, and Jack convinces the devil to turn himself into a coin so he can pay for the drinks. The devil does, and Jack pockets him and places him right next to a cross so the devil can't form back. He then takes back the cross and releases the devil. In return, the devil cannot take his soul for 10 years. The devil agrees, and he goes on his way, and Jack goes on his way. 10 years later, the devil finds Jack once again, and Jack plays another trick on him, where he makes the devil climb up a tree to get a fruit. While he's up in the tree, Jack drew a cross so he couldn't come down. And then they make the same deal where the devil can't take his soul for another 10 years. So Jack then, he agrees, so Jack then helps him down, and they go on their own ways. A few years later, Jack dies. However, God will not take his soul because he wasn't a very favorable character, and the devil, keeping his promise, did not take his soul either. So, he roams around the earth at night with a turnip and a burning coal to light his way, trying to find his way back into heaven or hell.
With this tale, the Irish started making their own lanterns out of turnips and potatoes and squashes. When the British and Irish came to America, the Irish started using potatoes, a much sturdier and stronger fruit that grew in America.
Costumes were invented to disguise villagers from any spirit that would bother them. They believed on Halloween, spirits were roaming around and would haunt people. But if they wore a costume, they would be mistaken as if they were dressed as a spirit, and they would leave them alone. These outfits were originally made from animal hides, but were later changed when the practice came to America. Trick-or-treating originated from the older practices of souling and guising. Souling, people would go door to door and beg for food, and in return they would pray for the person's deceased relatives. With guising, people would dress up in costumes and go door to door for food, drinks, or money in return for reciting poetry, jokes, or singing.
When these practices were brought over by the Irish and British, it was later changed to be focused more on tricks and pranks to each other's neighbors. But in the 50s, families started going more kid-friendly and started passing out treats instead of focusing more on tricks.
Haunted houses were created by the Romans to help deter people from sinning by putting on graphic and scary plays and pageants. Later on, the Christians took this practice from town to town for the exact same reason. People liked these plays, and they eventually evolved into the haunted houses we see today. The first true haunted house opened up in Paris in 1915. It was more of a fun house with dim lighting and screaming noises from phonographs. After this display, houses got more elaborate and scarier. In 1969, Disneyland opened up their haunted attraction, And the industry grew with special effects to bring the scarier houses to anyone who wants to go through. Now there are billions of haunted houses all over the country, all from the display of why Romans shouldn't sin. America spends about $6 billion on Halloween costumes and candy, making it the most second profitable holiday for businesses right behind Christmas.
We spent all that money just for kids to run around a neighborhood for 2 hours. I mean, at least Christmas is a full day. Anyways, if you have any topic that you want me to cover, please leave me an email at liamgary18@hcsdoh.org. Thanks for watching, and happy Halloween.